to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah.
Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well, beloveds, and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms. And that means taking your power back before you can't take it back. Let me just put it like that. Thanks to every single person that has subscribed to the channel. I appreciate, love you guys so much. Thanks to everyone that likes and shares, and your comments are absolutely just amazing. I really love going through the comment streets. Let's put it like that. Special shout out to our Patreon family. You know, I get a lot of questions from people who ask, why is it that Babylon hasn't fallen? You know, everyone's been saying Babylon is fallen. Everyone is saying Babylon is falling. What is taking so long? And I did do a previous show where I talked about consensus reality and how this world really works. It is literally like, it's almost like a spiritual democracy, although some have a stronger, vote than others. But there is something where the majority decide the reality that is experienced here on this plane, and the only way to escape that, and I've called it many things, group thought, group consciousness, and it's always been about the group consciousness. You see, because beloveds, this world was created by creators who created creators to be able to create their own experience and create their own world. And so all of us contribute to the experiences we have. Now, it's been a long, long time since all of us globally were brought onto one system. Usually kingdoms and queendoms and nations would create their reality of what they see, of what they saw life to be like. If you think of like the different nations of Wakanda, let's say, where they have their own culture, their own music, their own dance, their own style. That's them collectively deciding to create that. But Babylon kind of studied, because Babylon is the great studier and the great mimicker. So Babylon studied this, and they studied how our societies and our worlds were built on our collective consensus. That's how our politics was. Our politics was a politics of consensus. And it would sometimes take months, maybe even years, to reach a decision, especially when it came to like invading another nation. According to the Ayakoyo historians that I've spoken to, they talked about how it would take months to debate, and they would meet in a certain place, and it would just take, everyone had to be on the same page. It wasn't like, okay, 8 of us agree, 2 of us don't agree, so we're going with the 8. It was never like that. But that's kind of how this world works, where it's the consensus now has been manipulated. And it's like by force, Babylon has enforced their world through this manipulation of the consensus reality by bringing all of us online, making sure we all spoke basically one language. I think they say all these Babylon language have like a Germanic, they all come from German or whatever, but it's all to have us on this one thing, to have us on this one paradigm of thought, one paradigm of culture. Now we all dress the same. We all watch the same shows. Everyone watches the same news. Everyone knows about the presidents. Those are now the main characters. And it's all this gibberish, beloveds. It's phantoms in the sky. It's a great fantasy. But they've managed to manipulate the whole consensus, and everyone is in that. And they have so many goodies, like drugs. Babylon is very addictive. And so everything they've invented, and I've talked about this before, like Instagram, is all about getting that it's like an Instagram of Coke. And so the reason Babylon isn't falling as fast as it should be, although if you have the eye to see, you will see that it's falling, is because too many of our people are still hooked on Babylon. Many talk a good talk about, oh, Babylon must fall and I'm leaving Babylon and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But they're not walking the walk. They're not actually backing that up with their actions. They're not actually actively trying to create a world separate from Babylon. Because Babylon, you don't fight Babylon to fall. You walk away from Babylon. And just by pulling your attention away, Babylon falls. But you see, your attention is something that, there's entities that have been feeding on that for so long, and they're not going to just let it go like that. So best believe they have done everything to make it seem simple. Just pull your attention back, stop focusing on Babylon, start doing your own thing. It seems simple to say that, but it's so complicated because people are so entangled in the Babylon system. And you see, the majority are still entangled, which is why Babylon won't fall. But we're seeing, like the New World Order, where they're trying to implement themselves. There's certain places where it's not holding anymore. Like there's cracks and chips, and it's starting to fall apart. And the reason it's falling apart is because there's those that are saying no, and they're backing their decisions with their actions. And you're seeing Babylon's agenda fall much faster there. I mean, no nation has fully walked away from Babylon. But you're seeing like many are forcing governments to pull back on the New World Order agenda in many different ways, just by standing firm and not going, not being part of the sheeple, not going with the 99%, not going with the herd, but standing firm, and then recognizing that, because when you stand firm, you recognize that you're not the only one that's standing firm. And so Babylon will fall the more we remove our attention to it and then start actively creating our own world. And you know what? We will come together when the time is right. But it's more important for you to construct your individual narrative right now so that you can leave that collective narrative aside. And the more of us that do that, the faster Babylon will fall. Until next time. Tuko pamoja. Hello and welcome, family. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm not sure if you're seeing this on the Dr. Mumbi show or the Dr. Mumbi spiritual show, but we just wanted to give you a special heads up. We've been getting, over the last 6 months, we've gotten so many emails from people asking about what they need to do about relocating to Africa. Before it was like people needed general information, but now people are making some serious moves. So we've started a new community. We're going to actually be starting a new channel. You can find the links below. Go ahead and definitely subscribe and hit that notification button so that you find out when we launch our first video. But in case you want to see already, the pre-production stage, find us on Patreon, Karibu Nyumbani. And Karibu Nyumbani basically means welcome home. You can also find the link below. And it's everything you need to know about repatriating to Africa. And the reason we've decided to create the online platform is because people are in need of lawyers, of bankers, of realtors, etc., and advice from these people on how to relocate back to the continent. As someone who relocated 10 years ago, there's a lot of experience that I have under my belt about what the relocation process looks like. So definitely, beloveds, consider subscribing to the new channel, links down below, and join us, more importantly, on Patreon, where you can even ask questions. And by the way, if you're a creator, in terms of, if you're a what they call professional, if you're some kind of, if you're a realtor, if you're a lawyer in your country and you'd like to be a country representative to help people relocate, or if you have a consultancy agency, definitely reach out, Dr. Mumbi at drmumbishow.com. You can also join our Patreon family, where we do have a special section for, local country representatives, where we can be sharing all the information, real estate projects, etc., that you have coming up with our wider family. So happy to be starting this journey with you. We wish all of you the greatest success in returning back home. Karibu, Nyumbani.